He's a Netflix producer, along with his 8-adult wife, Michelle. He's producing more racial division. The latest is called Leave the World Behind. It's a fictional thriller about the collapse of technology and what humans would do with no phones or computers. The movie follows a family on vacation at a rental house, and one night they're visited by a father and a daughter who show up seeking shelter. They say their phones no longer work and they need a place to stay. So immediately the white family, because they're evil, that's encoded in their DNA, of course, is suspicious of the visitors because they're black. And it goes on and on and on like this. Here's a clip.
I'm asking for you to remember that if the world falls apart, trust should not be doled out easily to anyone, especially white people.
You can't trust white people. They're evil. This is the guy, remember, who became famous at the Democratic Convention in 2004 by telling us there is no white America, there's no black America, it's just one America. But of course, that's not really a profit model in politics, is it? So he's been stoking race hatred ever since, and the disarray around us is the result.
Reports claim that senior Obama administration officials orchestrated the Russia collusion hoax, stating, out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response. And he called the allegations outrageous and ridiculous, a weak attempt of distraction. He said, nothing in the document issues last week undercuts the widely accepted conclusion that Russia worked to influence the 2016 election but did not successfully manipulate any vote.
Netflix, K-producer, Barack Obama, Apni, Biwi, Michelle K, Sathek, Nehe thriller film Leave the World Behind, Bana Rehi Hain, Kahani Technology, K Fail Hon, K Bad, Insani Roai, KO Explore Karti, Hijab Mobile, or Computers.com, Karna Bandkar, Dean Film Main, X Safar, Par Nikli, Family Dekai, Gei, Hai Jo Ek, Rental House Main Rukti Hai, Ekrat, Ekbop, or Uski Betty, Inc., Darwazi Par, Dastak, Deet Hainunk, Kenahai K, Inc. Phones Com Na.
Barack Obama smokes crack and then you perform oral sex on him.
And like I said, the only reason I had come out about it is I had reached out to the campaign even in 2007, only because I saw all these kids getting excited about it.
Okay, wait, so how did that end? Like,
same way. So you get off, you finish smoking.
Talking about Obama saying every man needs a gay friend. So Obama goes
Barack, call me, buddy. Call
on
me.
his wife's podcast, okay? And they're sitting there having this conversation, and it opens, they covered a lot of different things. Right off the bat, they talked about the divorce. Hey, aren't we supposed to be getting a divorce and all this stuff? Just tell me if this seems like they woke up together in the same bed.
Ahi Kar, Rehi, or Unhimpana Shahi, Magar Film, Karak Fir Tarant Nasal Par, AA Jata, High White Family, Sheikh Main, Pad Yadi, High, Surface Lai, Ka Ane Whale Log, Black Hain, Yetasur, Dia Jata Hai Kase Flock Fitri Tor Par Bedguman or Mutesib Hot Hain. Isai High Scenes or Dialogues Film Main Barbar, Decay Gay, Hain, Aik Mukampar, Dialogue Yabi Hai, Agar Donya Tut, J. Tubarosahar, Kissy Par, Nahi Karna, Chehikasker, safe to log on.
The video of Biden at the debate in 2007 announcing that Barack Obama had an AIDS test.
I know Barack got tested for AIDS.
Oh, Remind me. The funniest video ever. Biden said, well, I think, AIDS is a real problem in the African-American community.
And the community's engaged in denial.
And I think we should all get AIDS tests. Barack Obama had an AIDS test.
I know Barack got tested for AIDS.
There's a cutaway of Obama being like, I hate you.
It's an important thing.
Then Biden's like, which is totally good.
On par. Yeah, Wahi Obama Hain Joe 2004 Main Democratic Convention Main K Rehi Thay, Nikoi White America High, Na Black America, Surf Ek America High, Imagar, Aj Unki Siasat, Ka Model Agda High K, Racial Division Ban Chuka High, Russia Collusion Hoax, Salikar Media Manipulation Tack.
Piece. Here's the cliff notes. Obama colludes with Nancy Pelosi and Hakeem Jeffries and Schumer. Sunday morning calls Biden and says, you're done. Kamala's gonna 25th Amendment you, and you gotta step aside.
And who places the call?
Obama.
Obama does.
So Obama calls the sitting president and tells him, you're done. Then tells Kamala Harris, you're gonna be the nominee, but if you don't gain traction, if you're not popular, we're gonna take you out too. It's all shocking. It sounds.
Kai reports, yeah, Batati Hain, KINK administration, Nikai Cheesine orchestrate key, Carlson or Patrick Bet David Ni, Obama K, Chamikt Chair K, Piche Chupi Siasat KO, Expos Karn, KIS, Mayo Saya High. Whoa, Obama K speeches, or media image, Kayo Ek, Cardboard Mahal, K Car, Taba, Kart Hain, Bina KC, Filter K Yakoy Helkafulka Rosnahi, Belkek, Mukamal Mais, Obama ka narrative joke.
I know it's hard to keep faith when a family member still hasn't found a job after months of trying, or another foreclosure sign's hung on the house down the street, and you're watching TV and all you see are politicians tearing each other down and pundits who treat politics like a sport. I know it can be discouraging, but don't ever let anybody tell you this fight isn't.
Kabi, Hope or Unity Par, Mabni Thabi, Corporate, Connections, Contradictions, or Scripted Charisma, KP Chai Chabgaya Lagdahai. Joe Biden once awkwardly declared during a 2007 debate, "I know Barack got tested for AIDS." It was part of a broader point about addressing AIDS in the African American community, but the delivery was so clumsy it's now a clip people watch for laughs.
Barack Obama, who really is a heartless monster, and I'm glad that's clear to everyone now, described the rape of a child as phony right-wing outrage?
This is what, he's talking about, parents being up in arms in Virginia and basically claiming it's all cultural war stuff. First of all, I never really cared about the fact that this is transgender. The bigger issue here is that school districts do not have the same priority.
Camera cuts to Obama's unimpressed face, and you can almost hear him thinking, "Why am I here?" Meanwhile, Tucker Carlson doesn't need much effort to raise a brow and ask what many won't. How does a man who lectured the world about climate change fly around in private jets like he's using Uber Black? This is the same man who warned about rising sea levels, then bought beachfront property, as if Poseidon personally offered him a discount. According to reports summarized by Seymour Hersh, Obama allegedly plays political puppet master behind the scenes. On a Sunday morning call, he supposedly told Biden, "You're done," with Kamala Harris being prepped as the replacement via the 25th Amendment, but even her position wasn't guaranteed. "If you don't gain traction, we'll replace you, too." It's a startling glimpse into how tightly controlled Democratic power dynamics might really be. Obama's brand has always been more TED Talk than truth-smooth delivery. Polished optics, but often hollow underneath. He could sell sand in a desert not because people need it, but because he convinces them it's historic sand. Patrick Bet-David sits back, coffee in hand, calmly unraveling the mythology that surrounds Obama. The peace icon who expanded drone, strikes and surveillance.
Obama, I was there. I knew Obama. He ran against all that stuff.
Yeah, he did.
Right? Iraq was the bad war. Afghanistan was the good war. And he ran a campaign against that. But he ended up throwing into prison the guy who...
Surveillance. The transparency advocate who left Guantanamo Bay open like a neglected Airbnb. Obama speaks like he's narrating a Hallmark card. He can take microwave instructions and make them sound like scripture. But while he dazzled crowds with rhetoric, everyday Americans faced joblessness, foreclosures, and partisan circus acts on TV. He told people never to give up hope, but often delivered far less than he promised. Tucker Carlson doesn't dodge the uncomfortable questions, like how Obama, a man praised as a moral compass, dismissed the outrage over the rape of a student in a school bathroom as phony right-wing culture war nonsense. For many, it wasn't about gender, it was about safety and a system that seemed disturbingly indifferent. Obama's legacy isn't just about poetic speeches, it's about well-marketed mediocrity. Patrick Bet-David peels that legacy apart like a skilled surgeon, exposing the drone strikes, economic stagnation, and feel-good messaging that came neatly packaged in a modern serif font. To his defenders, Obama is a sequel to Lincoln. In reality, he's the Hollywood reboot of idealism, high production value, big promises, but ultimately, just another performance. Barack Obama sold hope like it was a stock option. Every speech felt like a TED Talk crossed with a product launch, polished, inspiring, and somehow always just out of reach. He talked about change, but what America got was confusing health, care forms, global drone campaigns, and net
stuff with Obama. And he was a big contributor to dividing the country in many different ways. But I think he's a guy that's probably, in his circles, probably a good guy. In his circle, like think about if he's in his own community. And he's probably gone through a lot of shit as well.
Netflix documentaries. Tucker Carlson, with his usual calm delivery, highlights the absurd contradiction. A man who claimed to represent the common citizen while rubbing shoulders with Silicon Valley billionaires and Netflix producers. The healthcare plan that was supposed to fix everything, it ended up being a bureaucratic labyrinth. It cost more, covered less, and left people Googling their symptoms while praying their copay wouldn't wipe out their savings. Obama campaigned as the anti-war candidate, calling Iraq a mistake and Afghanistan.
Which is totally good. And I think he's negative, but I mean, all men should get an AIDS.
There's no shame in being tested for AIDS.
Obama is so mad.
I just got to make clear, I got tested with Michelle.
Everybody in Democratic politics, they all think that Obama is on the down low.
There's actual evidence for this. I mean, because David Garrow's biography he wrote about, he got the letters where Obama was admitting his gay fantasies to a girl that he was.
Afghanistan, the good war. But once in office, the change vanished. Whistleblowers were prosecuted, drone strikes surged, and the guy who exposed corruption, thrown in prison. Patrick Bet-David rightly asks, how did a healthcare law crafted by insurance lobbyists get packaged and sold as revolutionary reform? If it takes 12 steps, 3 apps, and a legislative intern to decode your plan, that's not reform. That's legalized chaos in PDF format. For 8 years, Obama turned style into substance. His charm masked economic stagnation, foreign policy failure, and an allergic reaction to accountability. And through it all, the press adored him. Scandals like the IRS targeting, Fast and Furious, and journalist surveillance barely registered. But that tan suit, that made headlines. Tucker doesn't yell. He just quietly connects the dots. The president, who promised transparency, delivered surveillance. The champion of whistleblowers buried them. The man who pledged to end wars quietly expanded them. It wasn't philosophical duality. It was hypocrisy in a suit and tie, applauded by a media class, too enamored to question anything beyond the aesthetic. Patrick Bet-David strips away the illusion with the clarity of a businessman. While most people applauded the performance, he followed the money. Obama wasn't a leader, he was a brand. A golden child of the press, marketed as Messiah, whose real accomplishments were wrapped in loopholes and vague slogans. Even critics admit, in his inner circle, Obama might genuinely be a decent man. He likely faced real struggles, real barriers, but the broader legacy is deeply divided. He walked on stage as a unifier and left behind a country more polarized than before. And then there's the AIDS test clip. The awkward moment Biden proudly announced Obama had been tested, to which Obama visibly cringed. Later, Obama clarified.
Leaves after 2 terms. Obama gets elected.
Yes.
And he's very much the peace candidate. He's for transparency.
Well, I like to say that it was Saint Obama that came down from the heavens into the White House
Black
to save
Jesus
us.
returns.
That's right.
And but he's very much I remember in fact being on television saying, he was this wild-eyed peacenik lefty guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, he wasn't.
Oh.
That he got tested with Michelle, as if to settle the media awkwardness. But even that moment lives on as a bizarre highlight in the long reel of contradictions. Some in Democratic circles still quietly whisper suspicions about Obama's private life, referencing things like David Garrow's biography. Whether those rumors hold weight or not, they speak to the strange dual reality of a man praised for honesty while living inside a carefully constructed narrative. In the end, Obama gave America a historic moment, but not the historic movement. It was promised. What was sold as transformation turned out to be a very eloquent version of the status quo. Turns out, Obama wrote letters in his youth admitting to gay fantasies, a revelation casually dropped, then largely ignored. But Patrick Bet-David doesn't flinch. He calmly redirects the conversation to the one thing that cuts through distractions: reality. The economic aftermath of the Obama years wasn't a triumph. It was a slowdown dressed in optimism. Wages stagnated. Small businesses struggled. Meanwhile, Wall Street celebrated like it hit the jackpot in Vegas. Obama's America.
Reports claim that senior Obama administration officials orchestrated the Russia collusion hoax, stating, out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response. And he called the allegations outrageous and ridiculous, a weak attempt of distraction. He said, nothing in the document issues last week undercuts the widely accepted conclusion that Russia worked to influence the 2016 election but did not successfully manipulate any vote.
Had all the right slogans, but few tangible results. He received a Nobel Peace Prize, then expanded drone strikes. He condemned foreign intervention, then quietly authorized more than a dozen. He promised diplomacy, then armed questionable rebel groups like a bargain bin arms dealer. It was contradiction masked as conviction. Tucker Carlson tears through the facade with brutal precision. When you brand yourself as the ethical adult in the room, being caught holding the drone remote kind of ruins the image. Then came the race card, not used sparingly, but strategically. Laminated, framed, and hung in the West Wing as a rhetorical shield. Criticism? That must be racism. Dissent. Silenced under the banner of identity. Patrick Bet-David doesn't pull punches. He calls it what it was. A brilliant strategy to consolidate cultural capital and suppress accountability, without delivering measurable change to the communities that needed more than symbolic gestures and press photos. Transparency. Obama promised the most open administration in history. What followed was one of the most secretive in modern times. Unity. He campaigned on it, but often governed through silence and selective outrage. Yes, we can quickly become no you won't, unless it was pre-approved by Goldman Sachs. It was all part of the blueprint. Obama followed it flawlessly. He walked out of the White House not into retirement, but into a media empire.
Barack Obama, and I'm sorry to be cynical, but I spent all 8 years of his presidency in the United States watching carefully. Why would he tweet out like it's a great thing that it's going to take days to find out who the new president is? Election workers are heroes. Respect them, thank them. Don't share things before checking your sources. I'm trying not to use the F word on YouTube, but like how dare you, Barack Obama, you liar, lecture me about accuracy, and then let the process run its course. It takes time to count every ballot. Well, not in India, it doesn't.
Oh, this came out today, though.
Yeah,
I think it's
complete with beachfront property, book deals, Netflix partnerships, and brand equity that rivals celebrities. He left office with the glow of a public servant and the portfolio of a corporate mogul. And while the press built shrines to his legacy, Patrick Bet-David quietly read the fine print. Obama wasn't the radical leftist he was painted as, at least not in policy. Red lines were drawn, then ignored. The Middle East descended into chaos. Mass deportations hit record highs. American manufacturing crumbled under the weight of globalist trade deals masked as progress. These weren't minor missteps. They were defining features, and the biggest irony. Barack Obama didn't prevent the rise of Donald Trump. He cleared the runway for it. Not because they were opposites, but because they were two sides of the same coin. One sold hope and poetry, the other sold fear in capital letters. But both cashed in. One had the press, the other had Twitter. That what America needed was truth. What it got was a mythology, a presidency wrapped in inspirational slogans, delivered with Hollywood production value. For all the soaring rhetoric,